delegated, and that's my fault. But I understand it's probably related to understanding what SLA is. So Rizal and I stayed up pretty late a few nights ago to really think about this correctly, and we want to present this to everybody so that you guys can take a look and understand what we mean by SLAs, okay? So this is an SLA. All right, I'm sorry this is really, really broad, but let's go over this one row at a time, okay, so that it's clear. I need whoever has control of the screen, Rizal, to scroll left so that we can start from the left side and scroll all the way. Okay, the first SLA is impressions. Somebody will bring impressions to Bukit Vista. Impressions means first contact, right? Brand awareness. First time I hear about Bukit Vista is through an impression. The action can be that we launch ads. Okay, Rizal is the person in charge of impressions. Rizal serves Gunny, right? Gunny is gonna sit on the back and get impressions. Rizal will do all the actions listed there, which we've all talked about. Those are no surprises. Rizal has control over these particular channels. He has control over Facebook on ads, page, and group. He has control on LinkedIn. Maybe if you guys want, we can change all your LinkedIn status to say, please give me a property, I can help you with it, right? And then people will start approaching you on LinkedIn. That's one idea that we thought of, but that's impression work. Rizal has control on Google SEO and SEM, okay? On webinars, if he wants to do webinars, on email, online canvassing and old partnerships, WhatsApp, sending out WhatsApp infographics, and maybe even new exotic methods, such as scraping a bunch of websites, getting their emails, and then creating an email list on that, okay? So that's what Rizal does. Rizal works on impression level stuff, okay? His inputs are, he's gonna put in his skill, his hours, and people in his team to work on these particular actions to generate as many impressions as possible. His output is gonna go into Google Analytics, where we can track the leads, okay, that come from the impressions, into Facebook Ad Manager, where we can track the leads coming out of Facebook, and also the MailChimp Analytics, where we can see who responded, who opened these particular impressions, right? His priority, so those are the controls that he has, but his priority controls, his main levers are gonna be Facebook, Google, and email, okay? His SLA is to get, let's say, 100,000 impressions a week. Not 13 contracts a week, right? Let's say his goal is to get 100,000 impressions a week on a $50 budget. So then we also put a $50 budget. And let's say his second goal might be he wants to get the cost per lead to, let's say, $10, right? So he gets like, let's say $10 a lead as an SLA. Oh, sorry, no, it's okay. Put 50 there. But let's say for cost per lead, the current cost per lead is 50, but let's say the SLA is $10. So every $10 that Rizal spends, he will get one lead out of that funnel. Okay, so he has a budget. So he's going to spend 24 hours on this, and his success depends on this. He's trying to, let's change that success ratio, for example, right? For example, Rizal will try to get 100,000 impressions. Oh, wait, no, he'll get 2,000 impressions a week per dollar, 2,000 impressions per dollar per week. So that's 100,000 impressions on a $50 budget. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay, so that's Rizal's goal. He's going to get 100,000 impressions. Where will this come from? Okay, maybe he gets 85,000 from Facebook. Maybe he gets 169 right now from the website. Maybe he gets whatever from email, okay? That's all Rizal does. Rizal's job is to increase the number of impressions. Wait, before you ask anything, let me go through, okay? The next job, who's gonna turn impressions into actual leads? That's Gunny's job, right? Gunny's gonna take all this traffic hitting us on our Facebook, on our landing pages, on everything through our email. He's gonna say, all right, we emailed 500 people. 200 people opened the emails. 20 people responded. Gunny's job is to optimize that. How can we get 50 people to respond? How can we get a higher success ratio off that email? So Gunny's going to work on, he's going to look at the content of that email that Rizal's just getting the mailing list together. Gunny's in charge of thinking about the content of that email so that it converts people who've been emailed into people who actually respond. Okay? Gunny's going to be thinking about the people who land on the website, right, from all this traffic and how they turn into actual leads, right? Gunny's going to think about our Facebook ads and about the content on these Facebook ads and think about how we're going to turn that into leads again. So Gunny's really thinking about how to turn these impressions that are coming that Rizal's generated into actual leads. So it's an optimization process in the middle part. Now Gunny's wondering, am I good at that? That's why I've asked Tara to help, okay? Tara can help look at, let's say, the analytics and understand where the breakdown is. So what I'd like Tara to help Gunny with is this, to say, all right, if we have, let's say, if we sent out 500 emails, 100 responded, 100 opened, 20 responded, how can we improve that success ratio? How can we, in the next batch, send out 500 emails, 500 opens, and 500 responses? That's an exaggeration, but that's what essentially that work is, how to improve the efficiency. So what Gunny receives as his input is he looks on Google Analytics and he looks at Manage My Property. He looks at all the traffic that arrived onto the page and he's like, Rizal, you've given me 500 impressions. How can I turn these 500 impressions into leads? Gunny looks at the Facebook Ad Manager and he goes, how can I take 87,000 impressions and turn them into leads? Gunny looks at the MailChimp analytics and he says, how can I turn these analytics, how can I turn these emails into leads? So that's what Gunny works on. Gunny works on the content part, and the analytics part I would like Tara to work on, right? So understanding, figuring out what it could be, and then Gunny can then create the new content and the new messaging that then improves and optimizes our efficiencies there, okay? Gunny's output are leads. These leads go into the LinkedIn inbox, the Facebook inbox, the property partner email, the Trello board, right? The leads all accumulate into these particular outputs, right? Gunny's goal is to get 10 qualified leads per week to Aldo. That's it. Oh, let's scroll all the way to the left result. I forgot to introduce this the correct way. All the way to the left. Gunny's is the server in this particular case, the person in charge. His client is Aldo, okay? So when Aldo doesn't get any leads, he can be like, yo, Gunny, I'm not successful because you're not sending any leads down to my direction. So then, okay, let's keep on going all the way to the right then, Rizal, and take a look at what Gunny's statistics are. Before we begin, Gunny needs to understand what his success ratios are. What is the current success ratio of impressions to leads on Facebook? What is the current conversion rate of traffic to leads on the website? What is the current success ratio of email outreach to whatever on email, right? So that you'll know where the current success ratios are. And your job, Gunny, is to boost your success ratios. Let's say the current success ratio on Facebook is pretty low. It's maybe, what is it, Rizal? It's 1 out of 87,000, right? It's probably less than that. 1 out of 80,000 is tiny. It's like 0.001%. It's really, really small. Gunny's goal is, how do I improve that ratio? How do I then get like the correct content on the Facebook, the correct content and messaging on that so that these ads run more efficiently? Maybe we get a 5% conversion ratio on our website. So Gunny's is, how do we make the landing page more efficient? How do we optimize that so that we get a higher amount? What kind of graphics, what kind of user interface, what kind of whatever do I need in order to see improvement? And on email, it could be what kind of messaging? What is my title? What is the subject? What is the composition there to get my ratios higher? Gunny, this is probably one of the hardest parts. So you will also need to get help. It doesn't mean that Gunny works alone. By no means. No. Gunny shouldn't work alone. Gunny should get help from Rizal. Gunny should get help from BI. But then at the end of the day, Gunny is responsible for turning impressions into leads, okay? Next stage, we go over to Aldo. So if we scroll all the way to the left, Aldo is in charge of this layer. His job is to convert leads into meetings, right? So he receives all these leads. He will qualify, he will ask the leads, hey, look, you want to have a meeting? Are you interested in Bukit Vista? Yada, yada. He'll use his powers of persuasion to get this to happen. His output goes to Wira. Wira goes to the meetings and she closes the deals. So Aldo's input is that he looks at all the leads that have been generated from Gunny's layer, right? He's going to check the inboxes every day. He's going to check the Facebook. He's going to check the property partner email. He's going to check the Trello board. And that's where he looks for opportunity. His output is Calendly or a WhatsApp group, okay? So once Aldo has a confirmed, or Google Calendar, right? So what Aldo does is he sends meeting boards onto a Calendly and then that's it. His job is done. Okay, and he's trying to get 2 qualified leads with potential partner every week. And all he works on is conversion rate. All he works on is converting these inquiries and these leads into meetings. Let's use the correct vocabulary there. Let's call it leads into meetings. And then Aldo's job is done, right? Then let's go back to Wayana's job. Wayana's job is she receives work. Wayana fulfills the SLA at the end, right? Her job is to fulfill that 2 partnership a week. So she's ultimately responsible for that. Make sense? But she can't do that without everybody else doing their job first, okay? So her input is she looks on WhatsApp groups. She looks on Calendly for appointments. She looks at Google Calendar. Yeah, let's go ahead and put that input. Rizal, her input is Google Calendar, Calendly, and WhatsApp groups. And then the output from Aldo is also Google Calendar as well, so that it's clear. Oh, no, sorry. The output on Aldo. Aldo is the same, right? Aldo's output is Wayana's input. Great. Okay, so she gets these two meetings, and she needs to convert one of them into a deal, right? That ultimately, she needs to hit these things. But you can already, so she converts one partnership per 2 weeks. So she'll get 4 opportunities every 2 weeks. She'll convert one of them, she'll convert 2 of them a month. And that ultimately fulfills the SLA, which is 2 partnerships a month. Okay? Does that make sense? Now, I know that, okay, let's talk about different scenarios, right? Let's say, for example, Aldo is doing a cold call. That's okay, right? Aldo is finding his own input sources, right? Aldo, where are you finding those leads, those warm leads right now?
From previous leads that we have.
Where are they? The Trello board? Are they on the Trello board, right? Okay, perfect. That's exactly where you should be looking for your input, right? So that's exactly where it is. Gunny, what are you doing right now? You're calling up these partnerships, right? So what layer are you working on? You're calling out these properties for partnerships. What layer are you working on?
On the Aldo's layer?
No, impressions. You're working on results later. But your work skips a few levels, right? Once you call, your thing, right, is how to make phone calls more effective. Do you get it?
Okay.
Your job is to turn impression into lead, okay? So it's actually, okay, the way I would imagine this is this. Rizal's job is impressions. So his job is to create a phone list for you. So let's go up to Rizal, right? So Rizal, his input should be his output should be a call list, okay?
Okay. Call list.
So call list. So Rizal creates a list. He says 2 columns. This is the name of the partner. This is the name of the phone number, right? He gives you a call list, and then you start calling, right? Your job is then to convert that into a lead. So your phone call then afterwards creates a lead. Does that make sense?
Okay. So on my call, I just observe if there is the opportunity or not, and then I pass to do.
Yes. After you've converted that into a lead, after you convert a call list into a lead, you can jump a step. Right? You don't need to pass it to Aldo anymore, because let's say you do the phone call. On a phone call, everything happens quickly, right? It's not like digital marketing where it goes. It happens all in one shot. You can go right to the meeting, right? That's it. Or if you can't convert it and you want Aldo to, let's say they say 3 things. If they say yes, maybe, or no, you drop the no's. You schedule the yeses. The yeses can be scheduled immediately to a meeting with Wayana, so you can jump that stage. If it's a maybe you can pass that over to Aldo for follow-up, right? For continuance. Okay.
Okay. But I feel like, yes, I did what you said. So, I mean, yeah, I do the first call, and then I looking for.
When you are the SLA you're in, you need to, your actions are correct, but you also need how the team works together. All right. Because what happens right now is when I see your Trello board, it's very confusing. It doesn't indicate that understanding of the funnel is actually there. Your actions are, look, we're not talking about whether or not the actions are correct or wrong. The actions are all correct. You guys are doing the right thing. It's more of the structure, what you're responsible for, what is other people's job. That part isn't necessarily entirely clear yet. Okay. And that's why I'm giving you the structure, so that when you do things, you're also clear what it goes to, how to work together as a team. Each of your individual actions from the very beginning have always been correct. Believe it or not, you guys have been doing everything correctly. But the issue is you haven't been working together as a team, right? Because you don't know when your work ends and another person's work begins, and maybe you're double covering certain things, or you're not passing. You don't have the right expectation of what each person should be able to do. So that part is what SLAs are for. SLAs are so that you guys can work as a team and not have this confusion. Like, where does this go? I see so many times inboxes with proposals, right? Nobody's answering them, right? Like somebody got back to us and said, hey, I want to work with Bukit Vista. Sits in the inbox, 6 days. Why? Did everyone do their job? Yeah, but we're not working as a team, right? The people at the front are doing their job, and the people in the back are still doing their job, and the people in the front, and they're not taking care of the end funnel. Make sense?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. This system will allow for that never to happen again. Okay, so that it's very clear. So if the system breaks down, it's very easy to trace. We just go, Wayana, have you fulfilled your SLA? She goes, no. Okay. Has Aldo fulfilled his SLA? No. Okay. Has Gunny fulfilled his SLA? No. Has Rizal fulfilled his SLA? Yes. Then we know that the problem is somewhere between Rizal and Gunny, right? Okay. Let's say we trace this problem again. We go, okay, Wina, have you fulfilled your SLA? No. Okay. Has Aldo fulfilled his SLA? Yes. Problem is with Wina, right? Make sense? So now it's very clear to trace. Now, this doesn't mean I don't want this to be intimidating, like, oh, like this is meant to be a witch hunt. This is meant, we trust each other here. It's not about that. It's about being able to trace the problem. I trust everybody here wants to do a good job, and everybody wants to inspire delight. But what happens oftentimes is we can't trace the problem. We don't have any partnerships, and we're not sure where did it break down. Was it because Rizal didn't get it? Was it because but now that we have it, each part is more clear. Gunny, I can see you're concerned. Tell me what's on your mind.
Yeah, I just a bit confused how to giving the progress. Probably I wrong to pass on to people. I should pass to offer to Wayana directly, but I offer to Aldo first. So,
yeah. You gotta understand what your output is. Now look, you can jump the funnel, right? Let's say Rizal gets a lead right away. Should he pass it over to Gunny? And no, right? Just pass it all the way to the end. It's like baseball. Hey, do you guys know how baseball works? It's exactly like baseball, right?
Okay.
You go first base to second base. But I mean, if there's nobody on the base, then just run all the way back home. Run all the way to the home plate. Don't stop at first base, right? Run all the way. Does everyone know how baseball is played? Right? Okay, it's exactly like baseball. It's exactly like baseball, right? So if Rizal can get all the way to home plate, then yeah, he should go all the way to home plate. He should close a deal if he can. No, don't pass it all the way down to the next person. Just go all the way in, right? If you can pass it all the way to from your position, pass it all the way in. But we know now if there's a problem, we know where the problem is, right? What layer did the breakdown happen? Okay. I will admit that your layer is pretty difficult. All right, so that's why I've asked Tara to help. Your layer is broken down into a few things, right? Discovery, prioritization, problem solving, and execution. I would like to help you with the discovery and prioritization because that's what data analytics is for, right? Is to figure out, okay, what is going wrong in these funnels? Why are they getting jammed up? What is it that's not working? And then you can work on the problem solving execution part, okay? About what kind of content would I need to create so that we get a higher conversion rate on the website? What kind of content should I create so that we have better ad whatever? And I think you can also work with Rizal on that too as well. But yeah, but ultimately this layer of the funnel, you have influence on. You create content that makes people want to click things. You create headlines that makes people interested in things. So that will be your focus. Just like listings before. Exactly like doing what we did with listings before. Okay?
Okay, sir. Okay. Oh, one more question on the Facebook things. So I'm in charge to Facebook ad content optimization, but Rizal doing the Facebook ads.
Exactly.
So what is the difference?
Yes, because the ads have two parts, Rizal. I'm sorry, Gunny. The ads have two parts. There's an audience and a budgeting, and that we can leave to Rizal. And then there's a content. There's an ad design part, and that can be left to you. Yeah.
Okay.
So Rizal thinks about, let's say, who to target the ads to. He thinks about like the ad budget so that we can, maximize our impressions. You work on the content part of the ads. Make sense? Which is what you're doing now anyway, right?
I see. Okay, sir. Yeah. Okay, so Rizal on the planning and on the execution.
Yeah, it can be like that. Like that?
Yeah. Okay, got it, sir. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Ultimately, you're responsible for higher conversion rates. And the conversion rate has everything to do with the content, right? The conversion rate of an ad has nothing to do with, the budget has to do with the impression. More budget, more impressions, right? Right audience, more impressions. But the ad itself, the conversion rate, is everything to do with that part of it. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, and in some ways, Rizal can direct you what to do too as well, right? It could be like, okay, try out these different designs and such. I know it's like, it might be a little bit intense, but it's not too much different from what you're already doing. Landing page design, optimizing content, better titles, better graphics, but now in the form of email, in the form of ad, and in the form of a web page, okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, back to Rizal. Okay. And then one more thing, the Trello board is still not been designed to look like this funnel yet, right? So what I would imagine is this, the initiative cards. Okay, you guys really need to maybe I'll go with Rizal and do it ourselves, right? Yeah, I'll just do it with Rizal. That'll be faster and it'll be less confusing. So I'll go with Rizal, rewrite the initiative cards so that they're staged funnel. And then the pivot cards, gentlemen. The pivot cards now are the projects that you're going to work on, right? So now when you have, let's say, Gunny's initiative is to improve conversion rates, right? Aldo's initiative is to deliver the maximum number of impressions per week per budget. Aldo's initiative is to convert the persuasion, basically, convert the maximum number of people from leads into meetings. And then Wira is also persuasion, converting the maximum number of meetings into deals, okay? And so everyone has something to work on. Aldo will work on being more persuasive, right? Gunny will work on being higher conversion. Rizal will work on creating more efficiency, more impressions per dollar spent per week, okay? And then Wira will also work on persuasion, getting people to change whatever. You guys will, of course, need to work with each other, right? If Aldo isn't too busy right now because there's not enough impressions coming in, then by all means, Aldo can go up and start making impressions himself, right? That part is fine. You can start from anywhere in the funnel you want, but ultimately, one person is responsible for each stage of the funnel, and that gives you it's like baseball, right? That's your base to defend. You defend that base. Yes, if the baseball is not on your base, you should probably go and run and catch the ball where it is, not just stay on the base, right? But you have a home base now, and then you can patrol around. You can help other people on other bases, but that's your home base, okay? Cool. And then if everything works well, then we should see this machinery start working, and it'll be quite beautiful. Okay. All right, back to Tara.
Well, it looks like time's up actually, but I feel like you pretty much covered, like the rest of the updates I feel were pretty much interrelated to, like on the paper, I mean, like interrelated to what you said. So yeah, I think we're good for today in terms of discussion management. Thank you for bringing this up, Jing. Can I ask really quickly, and like for my part at least, can I still have a pairing session with you just to further clarify exactly what I'm doing? Thank
One
you.
thing is this, right? We're gonna illustrate this concept of ZPD, which is zone of proximal development. I think this is pretty important result, right? I know sometimes it can be frustrating working in this chapter, and I know part of that is because a lot of what marketing is different from content, right? So content is thinking about things a sort of an ad level, right? Marketing is thinking about things at campaign level or above campaign level. So I know that's been confusing. So what we're trying to do with the SLA is to let you focus mainly on just one particular thing that you can be an expert on without thinking too much about strategy or whatever else, right? Before we had everybody try to handle a full stack, and that's really painful. So now you don't have to handle a full stack. You'll just handle a layer of the stack and just be good at that layer, okay? And that's all really we come to expect. And yeah, that's where we can see progress. Yes, schedule time. I'll be happy to talk to you. Tomorrow's a pretty good time if you're available.
I am. I keep on forgetting. I made a pairing session for us on Monday because I keep on forgetting that Saturday is an option. I'm gonna switch to tomorrow.
Perfect. We'll do a ZPD talk and we'll